Yeah, it really started with the Latifi fight. I fought in September. I had 2 fights left on my contract, and then I went and knocked Latifi out. And then you never know how long it's going to take to fight 2 fights. It could take a year, But we got offered Little Nog pretty much a couple weeks right after that fight, and to fight him in November. And so that was the last fight on my contract. And so we said yes to it. UFC gave us a re-up on the contract. We declined and went forward and fought it out. Knowing in the back of my mind I was going to get some offers elsewhere. Went out and won. Really, only other organization we went to was Bellator. Got an offer, negotiated. I flew out, met with Scott and Rich Chow. Great guys. Just kind of went over, what the plan was for me, what the plan is for Bellator, where they're going. And then from there, I liked what I heard. We started negotiating and got an offer and brought it back to UFC, had the right to match. And from there, it took a little longer for, legal ramifications, how they were releasing contracts and whatnot. But knowing what Bellator offered me, I didn't expect UFC to match that. And so I kind of knew I would be a Bellator fighter. So for me, just coming in, it wasn't just about the terms and the money. It was the little things, make sure I'm fighting, make sure, that the biggest thing too is sponsorships. Make sure I'm open and I'm free to kind of do other things if I want, like big fights, maybe a heavyweight or a different kind of stuff like that. And then it comes down to the contract, obviously, and the money and stuff like that. And that was amazing. And so that was a non-issue. So we just kind of worked through the little, trivial stuff that needs to be worked out in a contract. And I was just excited about just the openness and the opportunities of it all. I want to go in there and I want to win the belt. So we talked about fighting Phil Davis first fight. We talked about stuff like that. Yeah, I think there's going to be a trend, definitely. And then when people start talking, and I've obviously done my due diligence, and my manager has been great. He has a bunch of guys here in Bellator, so I know the landscape. But then talking to other fighters, UFC fighters that have coming over, how do you like it? Give me a little insight. So that's been good. And I think if more fighters talk like that, sponsorships are a big thing. Opportunities is huge. We're seeing a lot of people getting title shots and whatnot that aren't necessarily. I don't want to say deserving, but aren't next in line if you're looking at it as a sport-wise. They're next in line because they're the biggest draw, or it's going to be a big fight and get a lot of buys or eyeballs.